Hi, this is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live here at Cellars of Sonoma in beautiful Railroad Square, Santa Rosa, California. And welcome everybody to TV Tuesday Live. This is the show where we taste wine, we talk about wine, and I've got Dave back in the house tonight to help us. We are going to be going through the new Wine Club wines, 4 wines in the shipment. Those of you that don't know, you have the opportunity to become a Wine Club member. When you do, we send you 4 bottles from 4 different wineries 4 times a year. You get up to 15% off on your wine, 20% when you reorder. It's all about reordering. Once you find the wines you like, then you reorder. We give you an extra 5% for fun.
If they have a chance to come into the room, what happens? Do they get any?
Yeah, they get to have a flight tasting, whatever our current tasting is, complimentary.
Cool.
For themselves and up to 4 people. So very cool. And they're always small production wines. Most of the time, they're wines that, well, you just can't get anywhere else but direct to consumer, which we do here. So we got 4 wines tonight, and I made a Manchego grilled cheese, and we were looking at, we use that cheese in our cheese plates and so on. But you end up with little crumbs, and I was thinking, what am I going to do with all these crumbs? I can't really give that to my guests. It's not, it doesn't look
He
cool.
tried with me, but I said no.
I mean, you put it in your hand, it's kind of, but for grilled cheese, it's perfect. So that actually worked. I'll share with you guys, because I just made a big one, and it was,
Is that where you take a slice of cheese and dab up the crumbs and things? Is that how that works?
Yeah, you put a little butter on it, and you dab it up, and then throw it on the grill. It's kind of,
I think that's great.
Yeah, so
Cool.
So we'll try that, and we want to we've been experimenting with grilled cheese, a gourmet grilled cheese, the best.
And we've been benefiting from that as we sit here on air and tasting
these cool wines, and they're going to pair up the Manchego. It's one of my favorite cheeses, by the way, big time. Well, it pairs up with everything, which is what I like. So this mixture here that we've got in this tasting, the Manchego should rock with each one of those. If you think of like last week we had that blue cheese.
Right.
I actually.
That was your favorite. Right?
Well, I mean, I actually ate it. I mean, it was kind of weird.
That was a step for you.
Yeah, but that only worked really with one wine, though. You're not going to convince me that Grenache Blanc and the blue cheese, that's just not going to happen. That's going to weird out. But the Manchego's kind of neutral in that regard, so it works really well.
Cool.
But it's a great example of what to do with, you crumbled up cheese, don't discard that, make it into a grilled cheese sandwich, and I think mine came out cool. We'll have that in a little bit. The other thing that we're going to do is I got these cool, I didn't get them, my wife got them actually. I'm just
Don't take credit for that.
No, I immediately thought, you know what, she's watching and she's going to go, you don't ever go shopping. You either found it on the street or, she went and got it. So these are, they're playing cards, which is kind of cool, but they're wine trivia. So we'll pull a few of these, and then wine history. My buddy Russ was visiting at our house, and he was asking us a lot of cool questions, and they're loaded. They're kind of fun. Don't ask me where we got them. I have no idea. But we'll share some of these tonight and see if we can come up with some little trivia stuff with cards. That'll be kind of fun. All right, line up. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to taste 4 wines that are in the shipment, 2 2012s, 2000, and 2 2010s. I didn't do that on purpose. It just worked out that way. And as you'll see in our newsletter when you get your Wine Club shipment from my Wine Club members that are watching, I talk a lot about 2012, 13, and 14 being amazing vintages, but I put a big warning out there. We have another vintage like we had last year and you're going to see some bumps in price points.
Oh, okay.
The economy has not allowed that to happen over the last 6 years. Most wineries took some nosedives, but now you've got 12, 13, 14 rocking. I mean, the wines are amazing. And then if you get 15 behind it, they're going to bump. So what I'm saying to people now is buy the 12s, the 13s, and 14s, get more quantity and stash them away, and you can lay those puppies down for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. You'll crack that open, and then you'll thank me because you got it at a bargain. So it is all about me. Anyways, you guys are just along for the road, going down the road with us. All right, so the first wine, James Family Cellars. It now says Russian River on the label, and we've talked about their property over in Cotati. That is Pinot Noir, but their neighbor was right over there. And for every year up to 2012, that was considered Sonoma Coast.
Yes.
And then they changed the appellation to Russian River. And actually, I don't know, from marketing, I think that's a better play, don't you think?
I think so. I think Russian River is better known than Sonoma Coast. But you know, Sonoma Coast has got its own little reputation going too. So,
but the soil, the weather conditions were not really right for Sonoma Coast fruit. It's really Russian River. Look at all these people sitting on going, why don't he shut up and just give the wine out? You got a question? Go ahead.
Brad would like to know if it's possible that there will be so much wine that it will keep the prices down.
Well, that's a great question. So the question was, so if you have so much wine, is that going to keep the prices down? I have to say no, and here's the reason why. When the market crashed in 2008, many wineries freaked out. One of the things that really freak out wineries is storage, because you don't have just one vintage and then you skip a couple years and then you have another one. They're backed up. They're coming all the time, right? So if you're not blowing through that wine, you're getting bills from the storage company. When you get those storage bills, you're going, what the heck?
Yep.
And so when the economy went like this and just nosedived, they panicked and dropped their prices and flushed it through the market. But you know what? They lived through 6 years of that, and they're done now. Because the reality is you got 12, 13, 14 for sure that are rock and roll. They're going to be killer. Yeah, I see a bump. I see it coming. Just take advantage. You taste those 12s and 13s and you like them. I haven't seen any of the whites yet in the 14, but you'll start to see them. That's an opportunity. I'm just telling you,
Yes,
just
sir.
remember I'm the one who
You've heard
told
it.
you.
Yep, you
And
heard
if
it here
I'm wrong,
first.
then, you know, hoo-yah, you're fine. But yeah, you won't, I haven't seen a 12 yet. I didn't, you know,
Those are showing real well. Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and it was a year that even I could have made wine, and I suck at making wine. So if I can make wine, then you know it's really. I mean, you didn't have to be a winemaker per se. 2010, and we're going to get to the 10, and you'll know why you had to be a winemaker. But yeah, you got some good juice. This is excellent juice as well. Now, 25% of this was aged in brand new French oak. The rest of it was neutral barrels.
You know how much ML it went through?
About, I want to say 75% malolactic. So a secondary. You can tell them what they mean by that. You're the geek guy. I just drink. I'm the drinking guy.
I'm learning there's more geek guys in the house here. There's one right over here.
He set me up. He set me up.
Well, malolactic fermentation takes the bitter acids and turns them into creamy acids. So think a green apple versus a red delicious apple, which is more creamy. So it's a process by which, it's actually an enzyme process. Technically, it's not a fermentation per se, but we call it fermentation. So it turns a malic acid into lactic acid, malolactic. And it's something that happens in white wine. It smooths it out, makes it a little more creamy. 75% is a good number to find. You know you're going to get that roundness to it. Make it more enjoyable so you don't have that bite of acid along the way.
Yeah, because they only did about 75%, you get the roundness, but you still get a hint of that fresh cut apple, which is really nice, very pleasant. So it's not going to overpower the meal at all, and great versatility. So in this wine, you can go spicy. You know,
Yeah,
I don't have any problem at all. You don't have to go to such a rich food. When you get into the real, what I say, oaky, buttery wine, now you got to think richer foods.
Right, right.
You know, lobster,
Yeah,
lots of
this
it,
has the
you know.
acid still to cut into the food
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and break up that creaminess of something you might have in a sauce and so forth. And yet it'll stand up to a great salad dressing on your salad too.
Or you can have manchego, because you can have manchego with everything. I love it. Andrew, can you? I already cut those pieces up. Could you put those on just some stuff and share with these folks? Maybe cut them up a little bit more so the little pieces. I got big ones because I was hungry when I came in here. Never cook when you. Don't shop or
Don't
cook
shop
when
or
you're
cook,
freaking
yeah.
hungry, man.
Yeah,
I was like,
definitely.
I looked at. I got the biggest piece of bread. It was this big. Well, I bought this really nice bread.
You
'cause I-
sound excited about this
No,
Manchego thing.
Well, no, I like manchego. I see, you know, but I was testing out some bread,
Uh-huh.
you know, since we started doing
Right.
that. And one of the places over here in town is called Boudin
Uh-huh.
of San Francisco,
Right.
and they make I went over to Costco, and that's, you know, everything's like giant size.
Yep.
So it was a round that they sliced. So the sides are kind of normal, but the center is like this big. So I'm trying to think of, you know, in events that would work fine because you're going to cut them into little squares. And so anyway, I cooked a big one and it was cool. So anyway, just
We're looking forward to it.
You have a question?
I'm sort of new at this, but I don't know the difference between what a French oak is and what a neutral oak barrel is.
Well,
So, geek guy.
well, even I know this one.
Okay.
Let's see. Well,
for it.
there's two phrases here that we want to make sure we get correct.
Uh-huh.
French oak talks about where the wood came from.
Where does
The-
it come from?
France. Now, as
It
opposed
could have
to
French as a second language though. I mean,
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Could.
They don't
As a-
grow French oak here in California.
Well, no, they don't do that. But then you have American oak.
Okay.
So those are the two dominant that you would see out in the marketplace. You also see Hungarian and different ones. When we're talking about neutral, we're talking about a barrel that the wine has aged in previously. So it might have aged in it a year, 2 years, 5 years, so on. As it's neutral, it's aged so long. It's aged so long that it's not imparting all of the flavors and aromas, but it gives it a little roundness. And so you might do that to a Sauvignon Blanc, for example, which normally ages in stainless steel. You put it in a neutral barrel, it'll add a little bit of roundness, right? And it'll give you a little roundness. And so you can certainly do that. But French oak, I don't know, is probably the most popular, would you say?
Well, French and American are mostly what you hear about, for the most part. French being kind of the classic traditional and really elegant styling of the wine that comes from using French oak. American oak is a little more rugged, tends to be a little more rugged, and so it has its own intensity. You use them for about 3 years. First year, you get most of that woody kind of Home Depot quality out of them. You know, you get that lumberyard thing going on. So what they try and do is they adjust the toast.
Home Depot? I didn't.
That's an official.
I've never
yeah.
seen that written anywhere. Home Depot.
Okay.
I thought I was dreaming, but I've heard Kevin go. Home
Okay,
Depot.
Lowe's.
Lowe's. Okay, the Lowe's. Okay. I didn't understand until you said Lowe's. Once you got Lowe's, I got it. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
And they have different levels of toast that they do too. When they toast the barrels, they'll actually put them over a fire before they put the final hoop on the bottom, so it's straddling a fire, and that burns the oak. And there are sugars inside the wood that are extracted that way, and they end up participating in elevating the wine's quality. So if you were to put your nose to a barrel that has been just delivered, you'll get a lot of that woodiness, but you also get a lot of that toastiness too that comes from it. Eventually that wears off as they go through 3 years of usage. By the time you get to that third year, it's diminished substantially, After that, we consider it a neutral oak, meaning I'm not worried about the lumberyard quality, all that oakiness, but I like the fact that there's some air leakage and things that smooths out the wine over time. So that's what happens. So you get a softer wine, even though it is not imparting the flavors that come from a newer barrel.
Yeah, and the great example of that is the Grenache Blanc here in the room that Deering makes. They took about 25% and put it into neutral barrels, and it just gave you a little roundness in your mouth, which was very pleasant. You still had the crispness
Right.
from the stainless steel, but roundness as well. So, God, I geeked out there for a minute.
Yeah, great.
So, did you guys taste that? Was that terrible or what? Isn't it awful?
No, it's not.
Right? Wow. Manchego chips. We'll call it Manchego chips because they're just little chips of Manchego. All right, so retail on this is 30 if you're a club member, 25.50. Cannot beat that. No, no, no. Russian River fruit. Yeah, good luck. Go to Safeway. You're not going to do it. I'm just telling you're not going to do it. You can look all you want. You'll get California wine, which means it came from anywhere. But we're talking small, tiny production right over in Katati, right over here, right? That way, that direction. Okay, so gotta love Chardonnay. I know you guys that are looking on from the East Coast, you're still in a mess. Any wine club members that are looking, you guys in the East, by the way, just be patient. I'm probably going to hold the shipment back a little bit longer. I want to go another week or two. It's so darn cold. We don't usually have that, but we've had too much of it and for too long, and too much of it below 5 degrees,
Right.
which is really weird.
True.
I don't know what that is, but anyway, apparently it's like really cold. But you don't want your wine to freeze. The thing that you want to be careful with, you don't want spikes in temperature in either direction. And super cold is that's just a bit too much.
That's pretty cold, 5 degrees.
Well, I mean, and it's cold and it's snowy and the airplanes are getting clogged up, and so the wine sits in the warehouse and then that's not in the right temperature, and so we want to make sure it's right for you. So just bear with me. I'll get with the program. We'll get it out of here. Maybe next week. I think it might just
Weather permitting.
weather permitting. I mean, what are you gonna do? All right. So that was 2012. Again, I said 12, 13, 14. We see a lot of the 12s right now in both white wines and red wines. I was just out to Napa on when did I go? Sunday. So if you came down here Sunday, I got waylaid. I went there
Is
to
that
pick
what you
up.
call it, huh?
I went there to make a quick pickup of a bunch of wine that we were buying, it took so darn long that I thought by the time I get back here and unload the 18 or 20 some cases that we picked up, it would be almost 6 o'clock. We open at 3. We close at 8:30. I'm like, there is no way I'm gonna make this. So I went to Coletto, which if you've ever been to a Coletto winery, that's way up on the mountain, man. I drove my truck loaded with wine way up this freaking mountain. It was unbelievable. If you ever get to Napa, go to Coletto, make an appointment, and go to Coletto. It'll blow your mind. It's the highest. I'm almost positive it's one of the highest. Wouldn't you say, Andrew?
It is?
It overlooks the entire valley. The wines are magnificent. The grounds are cool. Bring your lunch, man. You can just hang out.
What mountain range? Going Howell?
No, it's not that. It's not that far north. It's more. We cut over like an Oakville, then go up in the hill. Atlas Peak, maybe that.
In that area?
I don't. Now
Is it
you're
there?
making me. Now you're. I don't. A big, long road. It was a long road. I'm just telling you, it was long. Yeah, but I'm just telling you, it was a great spot, and we just had a super time. That'd be a great one to go film. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, very nice. Great wines. Hats off to their staff. They did a super job, and we had a good time.
Cool.
So we were closed. Sorry. I hate that. Now I'm gonna get in trouble because I wasn't open.
Oh, I noticed that, but
I-
I didn't say anything. I came by and said,
Well, if you had seen what I have,
Uh-huh.
oh my gosh,
No, you're waylaid.
Oh man, I'll tell you later what blow your mind. All right, Amorosa Bella, 2010 Russian River Reserve Pinot Noir. Now, what is that? What's the reserve thing all about? What's your take on that?
Well, and I was going to ask you what differentiates this reserve from their regular, but you'll answer that for me. But the reserve in the U.S. means absolutely nothing. It's a made-up term, and it sounds really cool, and you maybe even charge more money. But in the United States, there's no rule about reserve or non-reserve or vintner's reserve. Or
Yeah, now in Italy, they put Reserva on there. It has to be from
Right.
a certain area and quality, right? I mean, is the
Or
quality.
time when it's picked, is it not? Sometimes the picked earlier,
Yeah, we're-
later when the grapes are better.
Yeah, reserve. I'm sure you could.
Reserva.
He's been studying this over here, the future certified specialist in wine. The Reserva or reserve is usually kept in aging a little bit longer, depending on the local rules. It can be anywhere from 6 months to 2.5 years, but you can expect it to have a little more time being aged. Therefore, it should be a little more mature, a little more settled, a little more of that intensity, because you get a little more oak aging perhaps along the way. So it's a good thing over there, and you pay a little more for it. And you'll notice sometimes when you get into the things like Chianti, you'll see, wow, this looks like an older vintage. It's just been released because it's been that long, turning itself into a reserve along the way.
Oh, so it had to stay a little longer to get to that.
Did you get that?
Now, see,
point?
in America, none of that means poo. So I can take any old ugly wine and go, it's my reserve. But here's the problem. You're only going to buy into that one time. And then, remember that warehouse thing we talked about with all those wines that are backing up? That's exactly what happens. So you got to be very careful and don't abuse that, because you're going to lose that customer. You'll never get them back. In this example, as many wineries, they go through the barrels that they have from the fruit that they've got that particular year. They did in this case in 2010. And they identified certain barrels that were superior to the others. Either the age of the barrel, the cooper, just the way it was working in the barrel. They really identified and said, these 5 barrels are light years ahead of the other. They're really going to make a superior wine. Thus the reserve, it gets a higher price point, and it deserves it because it really is an edge above. Now we do make the regular one, and they're beautiful too. But when you put them side by side, this stands out. I mean, it really does. I mean, and it's showing well.
Typically, those who do that barrel select will end up with more intensity, more of the, more of the finish, the longer finish after you swallow it. It continues on.
Yeah, bigger mouthfeel. Go ahead, you had a question there, young lady.
Rob would like to know if the different breads or the grilled cheeses will affect change the taste of the wine. So he's thinking of breads like rye or pumpernickel or sourdough.
Yeah, so the different types of breads, that's a great question, how that will affect the wine. Well, just like anything that you put together in a pairing, you have to be careful that something doesn't overpower your wine. So you want that to complement it, but you don't want it to overpower it. We don't want to come back and go, wow, I love that rye taste in my mouth, and you lost the wine. So you got to be a little careful. Some of them are, rye might be a tough one, but I'm noticing this bread is got a lot more flavor than the other sourdough that we had purchased for the last time we've done. This
I
is
agree.
much more
I agree.
flavorful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's
Definitely
more
does.
expensive, so money does talk in that. But try to stay with the. Well, you guys, I don't know if you get sourdough dough in the Midwest. I have no idea. You might have a little hard time finding it, but if you can get a sourdough bread, go for the quality, and yeah, don't cheapen up. Be careful when you switch to rye and things. There might be too much going on.
Or just try it and see.
Yeah, experiment. It's the same with wine. We experiment. Makes you have to buy more. And everybody's palate is different. You are correct. Yeah. So Amorosa Bella 2010. Let me tell you about 2010. This is the difference between making good wine, being a good winemaker, and or having a great vintage, and you can do about anything with it. 2010, very difficult year. Number one, you had rain late in the season. About this time of year during bud break, you get rain. You end up with what we call shatter. Shatter is when the buds break apart and they make these deformed looking, clusters that are not uniform. Well, all that's got to go bye-bye because it's just sucking energy and you're never going to make wine out of that. So shatter doesn't help you other than to thin out the crop a bit. Then you had a cold summer. I mean, now, I know the guys from the East Coast are laughing going, what the heck are you talking about? What was it, 75? Your damn cold summer was 75. That's true. It was, but it was foggy too. And it didn't get into the 80s very much here at all. The whole darn summer. So what do the vineyards do? They pick the leaves to let the sun shine both sides of the vines. And as soon as they did it, spike in temperature, 103 degrees.
Lots
Guess
of
what that
sunshine.
did? Raisins. It went whoosh and just. But you can't leave the raisins on the vine, so you need to go through there and thin it out, which is great for what's left that didn't get burned.
Right.
So the quality was jumping, and the advantage went from a grower to the winery because the yields were going to be lower, and the growers hate that. They're like going, what the heck am I doing in this business? But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you had to be a winemaker. You had to choose your fruit better and make darn sure that you picked the right fruit and left it on the vine long enough. And that was a trick. You had to work hard. Other than 2012, you didn't have to do anything. You could sit back, play some cards, it's like, is it ripe yet? Okay, we'll wait till tomorrow. It was like you had no worries, like the weirdest thing. This was tough. But watch the 10s. Look for 10s in the reds, right? I mean, I'm seeing 10s. I tasted some 2010 on Sunday, and they were killer in the bottle. My gosh, they were pouring good. So
10s are showing really well.
10s are rocking and rolling, man. I'm having no problem. They're showing well, and they're showing that they can age. They have nice ageability. This is a wine. My Pinot fans, don't think so short term on the Pinots. I think you're making a mistake. This wine 5 years from now is going to be killer.
It will
It's
be.
going to
It
be
will be.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's going to soften up. The tannins are going to relax a little bit. We've seen it in here. We've been open 6 years, and I've had wines in here that we've aged almost that whole time. They're killer. Don't be freaking out, man. Lay some of that down.
It's very nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, lay it down. I mean, don't be such a hurry.
As a wine drinker, it's not something I'm used to hearing that you can lay down a Pinot Noir.
Well, let me qualify that question. The question is, you're not hearing that you should lay those down. The first thing you have to do is qualify you have to make sure you're dealing in the ultra premium marketplace. And what I mean by that is specific appellation, much better quality. They've aged it in nice wood, maybe French oak, some of it new. It can't be just a California wine. That's not going to age. But if it was made in that kind of style, because it was in a good vessel and because it was taken care of, yes, you do have the ability to lay that down. And I'm not saying you're doing 20 years, but you're not going to argue with 5 to 7
Right.
all day long. And that's why you buy larger quantities, you set them down, and then every 6 or 8 months you pull a bottle and you go, wow, that's too early. And then you can let the other stuff sit. And then you get your barometer out, you're going, okay, I got it. Go ahead, Karina.
Brad would like to know if the wineries would dump wines from 10 and 11 because 12 was so good.
No. The question was, would they dump 10 and 11 because 12 was so good? No. And even with, there was a lot of discussion about 11. We've heard all this stuff, walk away from 11. I've heard that over and over and over. I think it depends on the source, where that fruit came from, and who was the producer, right? Because if they did it correctly, I've tasted lots of 11s. I'm not having any issues. I'm really
I
not.
don't think there's anything wrong with 11 at all.
No.
Just because there's something good about either of the other two doesn't mean it would drop 11 in the lineup.
Yeah.
So, definitely not.
No, it's not.
I'm assuming you're meaning put it in the marketplace really inexpensively because you have other things waiting, and the answer that would not be a logical strategy to do that?
I sure the heck wouldn't do it with a 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
This- yeah,
full
this is
on, man.
amazing.
I'm not going to discount that in the marketplace. It's not worthy of that at all.
The Amorosa Bella is showing really nice.
This is showing really, really, really nice. It was a very good fruit source. They did it correctly. They picked the right barrels, and it deserves a reserve.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hats off to them. They did a fantastic job. $38 for the Amorosa Bella, $32.30 if you are a Cellar Club member, and Yahoo.
Nice.
Now, if you guys are going to come to Wine Country the next 2 weekends, is barrel tasting. Starts this Friday, goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can get tickets at the door.
You guys are going, right?
You got 100. You guys
Yeah.
going? All right.
Cool.
You can go to 130 or 140 wineries throughout
Who's
Dry
counting?
Creek.
Who's counting? 130,
Yeah, I
140?
mean, one of these years I'm going to rent a limo and I'm going to try to hit all of them. No, I think I can do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no. I need someone to drive me after the second winery. So that much less than. I think I would like to try that. You had to be real strategic though. You
You do.
You got to go to places to knock out a bunch of them all at the same time, and you got to spit out, which I hate, but you have to do that. So this weekend and next, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, barrel tasting. We're participating in that. We'll have cool food out. I'm changing the food. I'm going to go to go figure, grilled cheese.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's going to go well. We're really happy with the
Who would
grilled
have
cheese.
guessed? Who would have guessed?
Yeah. How weird. What a strange guy. And we have live music. Thursday night, we've got, who you got in the slot there? I put them in order, I think. Oh yeah, John Pita. John Pita, the Reverend John Pita. He has his own church.
For wine drinking?
Hey man, if it gets them to the pulpit, that's all they care. So the Reverend John Pita, he'll be on Thursday, and then Friday we have Greg Youter. Greg Youter, excellent band, and then on Saturday, Ricky Ray. You like some blues? Yeah. Ricky's excellent. So nice entertainment all weekend. You got the barrel tasting. You can get tickets here if you want. If you don't have your tickets yet, it's $60 for all 3 days. Wristband
So they
and
can
a
come
free
in
glass.
tomorrow, whenever, to buy tickets in advance.
They can come in on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Once the weekend starts. All right.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have the supplies tomorrow, so I guess they could. Yeah, I'll have tickets and all that tomorrow. So anytime after tomorrow, you could be rocking.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a great weekend. It's a lot of fun. Weather's going to be pretty good.
So it's actually 2 weekends.
Yes.
2
The
weekends.
next 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Rocking
Nice.
and rolling, man. Doing our thing. Very, very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so you don't want to miss that one. Barrel tasting. Wow. What was wrong? That's really showing well.
I thought there for a minute we were ending the show. That's why I was.
No.
No?
Not with that
Oh.
little bit of wine. No.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Just checking.
All right. Now, this next one, I picked 4 really cool wines, but they complement each other.
And by the way,
really.
might I say you picked a really great cheese.
I did. This Manchego, man. And it's just crumbs. It was just crumbs that you basically would have thrown it away, and it makes a great
I
grilled
heard that
cheese.
somewhere, but
Oh.
yes, that's great. Appreciate that.
All right. This is cool.
By the way, this new recording of a filled room is really working. It makes it seem like there's a lot of people in here.
Yeah. I like that, huh? All right. This wine is way cool. And anybody that gets this in their shipment is going to...
Buy more.
I was going to say they're Peter Pans, but I guess not. They're going to they're not going to believe it. This is a 2012 Grenache, and Grenache, historically, in my book, I don't know about you, is can be a little lighter wine, not usually big tannins.
In the south of France, and in the Rhone region, it's used as kind of a blending. It melds other grapes in that area. There's still some pepper to it, but it's not a big tannic wine necessarily.
But this is a big,
But
dog.
this is a big wine.
Yeah, she didn't mess around with this one either.
In California, there's probably about 6,300 acres of vineyards of Grenache. And who does the Grenache Blanc here? Who does
Deering.
So there's only about 260 acres in all of California of Grenache Blanc. So compare that to the 6,500 or so of Grenache itself.
Yeah.
So
Not a whole lot.
not a whole lot of either one of those.
Yeah, but what a beautiful wine this is. And again, you know, we had this in the we have this in the pairing somewhere. And what did we pair up with that? Maybe Karina can look at that pairing menu. I forgot what we
Grilled cheese.
grilled cheese. We did. We paired up with grilled cheese. but did we? Is it on that? Is it on that menu there? Yeah. Let me see. So what did we do with that? We had it on here, didn't we? Oh no, I didn't have it. All right, forget. we had it on the other menu. Grenache is something that you can be fairly versatile on your pairings. Manchego goes with Manchego, of course. That's Heidi Barrett, man. She just rocks. You know, you guys have to really appreciate having access to her wines like we have it here. I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, it really, really is.
It's pretty hard to find her wines around.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Man,
so when you took on her brand here, you must have felt kind of honored that part of history
well, you
was in
know,
this room.
when she came over and she brought her samples, when we bring a winery in, we never taste with the owners, we never taste with the winemakers. We taste in a panel tasting. So that way we can say what we want. We don't look at the price point. We don't look at any of those. That's not really the issue. It needs to be a quality wine from top to bottom. And when Heidi Barrett walked in the door, and you guys, when you're done watching the show, if you don't know who she is, just go ahead and Google the name. You'll get 100,000 hits. They're all her. And she came in here, and I said, you know, Heidi, your reputation was here well before you walked in the door, but we treat every single person the same, and we're going to taste your wines through the panel all the way through. And she really appreciated that. She really appreciated that we were going to challenge the wine. If it's not right, then it shouldn't be here. And I remember when we did the tasting, and we got through like the first 3 wines, and we started to giggle, and we're just going, this is really stupid.
It's a policy that you set aside.
I'm like, what the heck, man? Come on.
you just wanted
Where's
to-
this going?
You just wanted to taste the wines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and she was tough, too, because she only gave me a split of her cab. She wanted to give me a full bottle. She gave me a split. But I love her for that. I love, you know. But the reality is we treat it the same. And, of course, the wine's rocked, and, you know, the story's real clear. She's been here 6 years, and we've sold the heck out of her wines and love her. And she's one of the premier winemakers in the world. In the world.
But
I'm
she
not
doesn't
exaggerating.
have an ego that goes with it.
No, she's really cool.
approachable.
You talk to her and you go, wow, she's really nice. And it's just, and you know, winemakers in general, I don't mean to rip on you winemakers out there, but they're kind of quirky, man. They're artists. So they're a little on the weird, they're kind of weird just by nature because they're an artist and they're kind of, you know, like they don't deal with straight people real well.
Well, they
So
live
it's-
in a cellar, a lot of them.
well, they do, man. It's like, it's,
Actually, I know at least one winemaker who's pretty decent. You know?
yeah, no, I know a couple. No, all of mine, and we're very lucky. The ones that we have are gems. But I've met a lot of winemakers that are like Tweaky birds, man. They're talking in a language that I couldn't even have any clue what the heck are they talking about. They're quirky and odd. Now they make great wine.
Yeah,
they make
no.
great wine. Don't get me wrong.
No
but
measure
they're
there, yeah.
as quirky as the day is long. And
Right.
it's-
Yeah.
But you get Heidi in here and you go, it just melts in your hand, man. It's like, wow. And she's open and tells you, you know, a lot about the winemaking process and what she does and her theories.
And
And
how she adapts to the situations and
yeah, we had a long going, you know, for the longest time, I went to her and said, Heidi, I want a Cabernet Franc. You have Cab Franc, you use it in your pirate wine. I know you have it. And you know what she said? It's not a complete wine. And I said, and you guys can see on the video, not right now, you don't leave the show, you go see it later on, but you see the show, and I asked her that question. She said, I break my tongue into 3 compartments. I call it 1 and 2 in the front, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. To have a complete wine, you must go all the way from 1 to 6. Cabernet Franc goes 1, 2, and a little bit of 3, and then the bottom falls out. Not a complete wine. And then I said, I don't care. I like the wine. I won't measure it that way. I'm just gonna drink it, man. I like Cab Franc. And she's going, no, it's not gonna. And she just like, you know, like,
it didn't happen, did it?
no, hell no,
Yeah.
it didn't. She was like,
Yeah.
I don't care how many bottles you sell. It's not a complete wine. So God bless. You know what? And what did I say? You're right. What can I say? But this Grenache, great example. Fantastic, pouring
Like
good. Man, right out of the gate, still has great ageability. It's a 2012. I mean, you know, Napa Valley. It's got some excellent fruit, but I think she nailed it. I'm not having an issue with that at all. Retail on that is $45. There was no wine club discount at that level, but you don't care. At some time you go, it's worthy, and you go, okay, it's worthy. I like that. So
Well, he gave me a discount once on this wine. It was what, 45, right?
yeah,
45?
45.
Yeah. So I actually got it from 45 down to 45. I felt really honored. I felt honored, you know. It's cool.
Oh, you got to keep the bottle.
I knew there was something. I knew.
Yeah, and the cork and the foil. Hell, that was pretty good. And I gave you tasting notes too. I'll give you tasting notes.
All right, there you go.
All right.
That's a value.
Okay. Oh, I didn't do any trivia. Wow. Let me see. Trivia.
Wine trivia. Actually, they all look like essays.
They
We're
are.
talking
They're
about-
very long.
We're talking about really, really small type. About 20 lines of a paragraph. See
Oh,
what I
this is
mean?
interesting.
Oh.
This is interesting. This is the most expensive bottle of wine sold at Christie's auction in London, 1985. The price paid for the 1787 Chateau Lafite was how much?
How much was it? 17 what?
1787. Not as much as I thought.
1985?
Oh, I know, 268,000.
Wow. Well, you got to convert it because I got it in euros.
Oh, forget that.
I'm saying 1,500.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Oh, it's wait.
600,000.
No, I'll
600,000?
no, because Heidi's
No, Heidi's that's a 6 liter. This is a 750 bottle. 750.
85,000.
Oh, well,
Could be.
it could be because the euro and the dollar were flipped then compared
Oh.
to where they are right now.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. Yeah, the dollar was worth
About
way
half,
more. Yeah,
twice
like-
as much
Yeah,
back then, right?
that's pretty close. 105,000 euros.
There you go. That would be,
You get a free look at the card.
well, what year was that? What year was that?
87.
All right, so in 87, that would be the other way, so it would be about $200,000, $250,000.
Yeah, dollars. Yeah.
Okay, next one.
Oh, whatever.
Wow, these are
These are pretty hefty.
these are long. Like holy
Yeah, they're whole
crap.
like major scripts here.
All right, I'm gonna so I don't spend the whole night trying to find. Okay, here's
saw him playing solitaire over here.
I want to get this. I know he's over there playing cards. The oldest wooden vat still in use in the world is located at the Hugel, and it's at Flaz Wine Estate, founded in 1639.
Where is it?
It's just a trivia fact.
Oh, I guess the question was, which is the oldest? So I gave it.
The one from the Hugel
Well,
estate.
they didn't do this like they didn't do this.
1639.
This was like it's a history thing. It wasn't a trivia. It was history. So the question would be the oldest wooden vat still in use was founded in what year? But see, I have to be
1637.
correct. And a bingo. He got a bingo. So I don't know where these cards came from. Oh, that's right. My wife got them, right?
I got one.
You got one?
What is the smallest wine bottle in the world?
What is the smallest?
How many ounces?
How many ounces?
It's the smallest wine bottle in the world.
The smallest ounce. So the smallest wine bottle in the world.
50 milliliters. I don't know.
It's gonna be in milliliters.
I'll do both. I'll do fluid ounces and I'll do milliliters.
Okay.
25 milliliters.
We got 25 milliliters.
Yep.
Anybody? Yes. 4 ounces. Okay. Anybody else? 1 ounce. 1 ounce. Jesus, that's a small bottle.
Oh, there it is.
Oh shoot! Hell, I got one. It's right here. Wow. Even the wine slammers hate that. Look at that. They're going, yeah, what is that?
That's a t-shirt.
Oh my gosh, what the hell?
So the smallest
Do you get a shot of that? Wait, you got to do it this way because you can't see the neck. It's got a long ass neck for such a little bottle.
Bordeaux bottle.
All right.
And I can mix it too. That's hilarious.
So
So what's the answer?
So the
wow,
answer-
that's Behringer. What?
So the smallest bottle
Yeah.
contains
Yeah, it is.
only 0.26 fluid ounces or 0.75 milliliters.
0.75.
0.75.
0.75 as opposed
Well,
to
what did that
7.
bottle have?
And the winery that produces it is Klein.
Klein Winery in Kenwood.
And it's corked, sealed, and labeled, and it produces 1,000 bottles a year.
No, get out.
So what is that, 1 case worth?
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? What is that? What is that?
Literally, it's big.
Well, it's interesting because
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's like those little ornaments.
well,
That's an ornament bottle.
Oh, the ornament bottles. Wow. Okay, well, you heard it here first. Okay. So I'll weed through these and get some good
TTB
questions.
doesn't let anything less than 50 milliliters.
Correct. So it's illegal.
Yeah, so they're not selling it. They're
Oh, it's not
using it
even
as a-
legal?
Using it as a giveaway.
As a personal Behringer.
Oh,
That's why they want to limit it.
nice, nice. Great idea.
Yeah. And I gotta tell you, you better drink that right away.
I'm gonna lay that one down.
Oh, yeah, you lay it down straight up so you can get to it. All right, so we lost our audience and we lost all of our fun. Okay. All right, so now the fourth bottle in the shipment. If you didn't put your feet on the ground, you really need to put your feet on the ground. First of all, it's super Sonoma. So immediately, it's brand new French oak for however long they wanted to age it. This aged about 34 months in brand new French oak, just like that barrel up there. Brand spanking new, baby. Nothing cheap about that. It's Knights Valley fruit. So is that anybody know where Knights Valley is? Besides you. You know where Knights Valley is. Yeah, so to the north, about 15 or 18 miles, and then up on the range, heading really toward the Napa side. You know, it's not me. Heading on the Napa side, and before you get over there, you're at about 1,200 foot elevation, and that's where he picked that fruit. And yeah, that's.
So for reference, Knights Valley, so after Calistoga and Napa, which is the highest point in Napa Valley, 120 and 128 as you go up.
128.
As soon as you cross the border, Napa to Sonoma County.
Right.
Knights Valley is the first
So
valley.
soon as you cross the border, if you didn't even hear him,
Calistoga, Knights Valley.
as soon as you cross, you didn't hear him? No. So as soon as you cross the valley from Calistoga over into Alexander Valley, you're going on 128. You're going right through Knights Valley.
And that's a lot of flat area, and then of course the hills.
Yeah.
There's about 2,000 acres of vineyards there. There's only 2 wineries that are actually associated with that. Both of them there's Peter Michael and Peter McCoy are the 2 wineries.
Is that right?
there. And Sir Peter Michael, who's a knight, by the way, he's been
Really?
knighted.
Wow.
So you do have a knight in Knights Valley.
In Knights Valley. Wow. I like that. I didn't know that. That's new news for me. Well, now we're going back to 2010, which was what we did with the Pinot Noir. If you want a big Cabernet Sauvignon, you got a big Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, what that means is ageability, ageability, ageability. Or if you're like me and you can't wait on any of these things, you just pull it, like drink it right now. That's me. Hello. Think big meal. Go big meal. Now I'm a guy that I can drink tannic wines just casually drinking,
Yeah.
whatever that is. But I don't have to meal plan for that. I can sit back and go, I like this, and the tannins are really big and they're rich and they're nailing me right here on the side of my jaw. And but I actually dig that. If it's a little too much for you, then you got to think in the meal plan. So if you do the grilled cheese, you got to go blue. You need something big.
Yeah.
Right? Would
Yeah.
you okay? I'm selling the grilled cheese gourmet stuff. But if you're a meat lover, man, you want the biggest, juicy, crazy. Oh man, you want a ribeye that's just, juicy, like a big thick one too, man. Yeah. Now you could do pastas too. But if you're gonna do that, I think you need to go spicy, maybe. You know what I mean? Because
Maybe.
there's a lot going on here.
You can also decant.
Yeah.
This one now, you would decanter.
Yeah, anything with the heavy tannins, you can smooth it out a bit. Yeah, aerate it a bit. You're right.
Oh, who did I talk to that was that Andrew that saw something where they were putting the wine in a blender?
Yeah.
Or was that Kevin? Was that you that said they were putting the red wine in a blender?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
have you tried it?
So let's ask that question.
All right. So
here-
how loaded were you before you did
So
that?
you tried it. You saw it on YouTube and you decided to try it. Right, of course. We all use that excuse. Because of science, we're trying it.
All right. I mean, yeah, you're basically just oxidizing the hell out of it.
Yeah, you're breaking down a lot of that chemistry to smaller molecules.
Now, I have had this conversation with Heidi Bear. And Heidi, because customers ask when she's in, they ask all the time, do you think we should decant your big cap? And she said, no. I want to decant it right in the glass.
So that way you get to see
Natural.
it change in your glass.
Yes. Yes. Right. There's lots of little gizmo. We have them here. There's lots of gizmos that'll add aeration, and it'll open the wine up. Heidi's theory is throughout the course of your meal. First of all, you need a nice bowl. Now these are nice Rito glasses. These are very nice Rito, but they're nowhere near what you really should have with a really big Cabernet Sauvignon. And then those of you that are watching at home, you're going, well, why don't you buy them, cheapskate? Why don't you don't have them in the room? The reason is we go through so much glass so quickly, you're going to blow those. We just blow
They
them
don't
up.
last.
They don't last. These are a little hardier. So we got to sacrifice that because, it is what it is. But at home, go for a little, they make another bowl that's considerably larger. And then to Heidi's point, you let the wine age in the glass during your meal, and you will see it improve in that nice glass as time goes on. So glass does matter in a big wine
Yes.
like this.
Yes.
Could I also say that it's been my experience that sometimes I'll cork the wine about an hour before the dinner party happens and let it sit open so it can open up.
Yeah, so the question is just open the bottle itself and let it naturally aerate. Yes, I totally agree. And you can do that a few hours before your event. Caution though, caution, caution, caution. Older wines, be very careful. They may very well start to oxidize really quickly. So be cautious. In other words, a wine that might be 15 years old, 18 years old, that fruit's gonna fall off. I would rather have you open it and start pouring it. It's just gonna, yeah. In the young wines, no problem. Yeah, if it's
Totally.
less than, 10 years old, no big deal. Yeah, open that sucker up.
What I like about what Heidi says is she's trying to help you understand how the wine changes over the years in the bottle before you get it into your glass and drink it. Because what you do when you let air go into the bottle, you're actually speeding up the aging process in a sense. Not really, but you are. So you're learning now very quickly in the glass what happens a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, as it gets the contact with the oxygen.
Yeah.
So you get to learn very quickly
Bye
how
now.
it evolves in
Bye, ladies.
the bottle on the way to your glass. If you keep it in your cellar for 3 years, well, if you do the same thing but open it here, it's going to move really fast through.
Yeah.
To Scott's point, if it's already an old wine, what happens is it's already going to start speeding up its aging process. So while it sits there waiting for the guests to arrive, he's saying caution. It might go over the hill while you're waiting to pour that wine.
And I know because I've done it, and I did it in a really big event, and we really thought we should have opened those wines up, so we did, and the fruit just fell apart, man. It just, I couldn't believe it. It just didn't hold at all. So caution, And if you're ever curious and you don't know about opening up an older bottle, call the winery. That's a great tip. They typically have gone backwards in these vintages, and they'll know where the wine is at. And you'll get a real good feel of if it's too early or too late. You'll know pretty much what
right.
to do.
Yeah.
Or just come over and share it with me, and then, well, what the hell? Oh, well, it didn't work out, but it sure tastes good. So, yeah, but bring grilled cheese. I mean, come on. Gourmet grilled cheese.
Gourmet Manchego.
Manchego, baby. Not Manchego. That worked like a champ, man. Come on, I love it. Right? Yeah, it's lots. There's lots. We have lots of Manchego. So, recap on what we did. We tasted the James Family Cellars 2012 Russian River Chardonnay. Nice and clean, crisp. It did see a little secondary fermentation, but boy, nice, solid, nice wine. You can pair with just about anything.
Some malolactic fermentation, right?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
malolactic in
Right.
that wine.
Yep.
Amorosa Bella, going to the 2010, man. Reserve, Russian River, everything you want in a Russian River wine. That one's rocking. It's rocking. And La Serena, what can I say? It's Heidi Barrett, man. 2012 Grenache. She knocked it out of the park. She picked the right vintage to start with that one. That's pretty cool. And then Super Sonoma for I like really big wines. Well, don't worry, you're gonna get it in this one, man. It's gonna talk to you. And just treat it right. In other words, pair it up with the right meal. That's really the advice, unless you're a hardcore guy like me. And, I can take it any, doesn't matter how easy money for me. But that's a big wine. Deserves a pretty big meal. Those are the 4 wines in the Wine Club shipment for my First Sips Club for March. So come in and get that. This weekend, barrel tasting, lots of fun. Live music 3 nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, rockin'. I want to thank all of you guys for drinking wine and buying wine, because that's what we do, and that's why you're here. I want to thank Karina for keeping us on track, taking pictures and everything else. And Dave, for the geeky stuff that's really fun, and for my wife for coming up with the trivia cards. And I'll come up with some questions on these because I didn't realize that these were like 14 pages long.
Right. Each one's an essay.
It's an hour show, man. We can't, that's all I can do. What can I say? So this is where you discover wine one sip at a time here at Cellars of Sonoma. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.